And what John Barkley says there actually is very interesting, isn't it, Sergio? The reaction to these Italian players compared to 2 years ago and that famous flourish at the end that gave them the victory, very different. This is a team that is expecting to back up performances, but let's not take away the enormity and the history of what they've done in this Six Nations campaign.
Absolutely. I think they show how in these 2 years this team take confidence in themselves. And we said before the game, Italy comes to the game confidence. They made history today, and I think the results probably don't reflect probably the 80 minutes. But Italy won the game. Was the plan for the coach? He looked for consistency, and today he can be really proud of this team.
And for Wales, yes, a few tries in that second half there to hang on to, a few line breaks that they will look back on and think perhaps they could have taken more from. Overall, this has been a terribly disappointing campaign from Warren Gatland's men. Yeah,
very tough campaign. I thought some of the players who come off the bench were brilliant for Wales, and Mason Grady had an amazing impact, but you can't take away how good Italy were, particularly in that first half. It's a massive moment for Italy. It's their best ever Six Nations result. They've come back from so much criticism. To win 2, draw 1, and still only be fifth, they probably feel hard done by. But they've been brilliant. I thought Wales didn't have an answer to their really aggressive defence. I thought so. Italy did thoroughly deserve the win. The scoreline does flatter Wales a bit, but some positive.
They were just
bench.
A few points away from England in that opening game as well. It's really only Ireland who crushed them, and they didn't perform against in terms of scoreline. This has been a monumental kind of improvement from the World Cup, hasn't it? And they've got real talent out there.
Yeah, when you saw the coach Qatada come in and say, you know, we're not celebrating, we're talking about how we need to get better. It's easy to say those things, but they proved it with the performance. And at the end of it, they're probably disappointed that they let those 2 tries in, because that was a 10-point win really for them today. It does flatter Wales, that final score.
OK, let's hear from the man of the match then. Ignacio Brex is with Sonia.
Well, congratulations. Italy are moving up. What does it mean to you and this players that you are off the bottom of that Six Nations table?
You know, it means a lot. We are so happy. We work really hard for this. Now we can still moving with our Italy movement, so we are so happy.
You have got a fabulous centre partnership with Tommaso Manincello. What's it like? How much are you enjoying playing with him?
No, it's easy to play with him. He's an amazing player. He's a real horse. So no, I'm so happy to play with him. He's a young guy, so he has a great future.
What's been the key to this improvement from Italy?
A lot of things. I think that after the World Cup we have a good meeting between the players and the staff, and we try all our best, and we improve our kicking game and our defense. So I think that's everything.
A little party this evening? A little party this evening?
I didn't listen.
Will you have a party this evening?
I hope it. I will tell that not that to my wife, but I will take it.
Many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Did he say with his wife?
I will say yes. Yeah. But I tell you what, he's a player, isn't he?
He certainly is.
And he's not flash, he does the hard work.
Yeah, and it's his second man of the match of the tournament as well. OK, that is how things look for Italy right now. We know they haven't got the wooden spoon, but they could move yet higher up the table. And if England if England beat France by a considerable amount, a big swing, and if Scotland also lose to Ireland by a considerable amount, there's a big swing, they could possibly finish a couple places higher up the table, Sergio. So you'll be looking at those results, those matches with great interest.
Yeah, of course, but anyway, I think today the most important thing was to see how this Italian team improved, the big step forward they made, and especially the way that they react after this victory. Brex was a fantastic player, Manincello as well, but I think all the collective today performed well. The defense was the key, kicking game. We see a team who control very well the pace of the game, and they really deserve the victory. So we're really happy. Made history today for the Italian rugby. I'm
it's
so
fantastic.
proud of this
Let's
group.
hear, shall we, from Captain Lamaro with Sonia.
Well, Michele, for the first time since 2015, the wooden spoon is headed elsewhere. What does it mean to these players that your team is on the up?
Well, obviously, it's everything for us. I want to say thank you to every single Italian one that is here tonight, and obviously not getting in the wooden spoon. I think we want to achieve even more. Obviously, we know we've done a good tournament, but we know we can do a lot better than this. And thank you to everyone.
Italy are much improved. What's the biggest change that Gonzalo Quesada has managed to effect with you since he took charge?
I think there are a few things that we've changed. Generally, the mindset with what we go onto the pitch is obviously something that we never had before, I think. And we got lots of confidence, but it's because in the last few years we've worked so hard. We've worked for each other. We went through lots of difficult moments, and now we just have to celebrate these good ones.
I mean, not so long ago there were calls for Italy to be relegated from the Six Nations Championship. What is the potential now of this team?
Well, 2 games doesn't define a team. We said it after the World Cup, and it's the same now. So I think we still have to be a lot more consistent in what we're doing, and to be competitive with every single team of the tournament. And that's what we want to achieve in order to get the respect we want.
Many congratulations, Michele. Well done to you all.
Thank you to everyone.
So a run of 8 successive wooden spoons comes to an end, and we talked about how difficult that is to keep that positivity, and as a captain to keep getting your players to believe that you're moving in the right direction. You were there in many of those seasons where a win was hard to come by. He's been very impressive, obviously, both for club and country this season.
Yeah, of course. I think you must be resilient. You never give up. Trying to, when you lead a team, you need to have every time a good body language and a good approach every time, every training with a lot of energy. And the thing that impressed me a lot from Lamaro is he's calm. He's a guy who, you do the best Six Nations ever, and you can be like crazy and celebrating and be really, and he's really calm. And this team, they know where they want to go. And Gonzalo Quesada, as he said, he's trying to change this mindset in this team, and they have the quality, they have the talent. Now they need to be consistent.
Maybe they're going to go a little bit crazy now, but it is marked, isn't it? The contrast, Sam, to 2 years ago and Martin, that they were celebrating wildly, throwing their bodies onto the pitch, and there's a real air of, this is what we do now.
I honestly thought they'd let down today. I thought they'd let down and Wales would just beat them today. I thought after that big emotional win, I thought they won't be able to come back. But they controlled that game. They took the initiative. Yeah, Wales helped them, but they took the initiative. And then when Wales started to come back, they got it back and they put the game away. So it was a really mature performance. And at the end, they're not, this is what we came to do. We win. Yeah, you celebrate your wins, but next time you meet up, it's all about how do we improve? What do we need to get better?
Yeah, they were giving away a few more penalties in that second half, weren't they? And starting to lose a little bit of that discipline that was so impressive in the first.
Yeah, they needed to come back out with the same energy, and maybe that just dropped a little bit. But Wales did up it physically, so Wales did improve there in the second half. So they didn't continue where they left off, but as Martin said, to back up that emotional performance, much harder, much easier said than done. So that's a really good effort to do that.
Well, Dathis Jenkins, of course, took over as captain for this campaign. Let's hear from him now with Sonia.
David, is the wooden spoon. What are the emotions?
Complete disappointment. No disrespect to Italy. As a playing group, we want to strive to win those games and be better than those teams. Yeah, just severe disappointment.
Pressure often does funny things, doesn't it, in sport? Was that a factor, particularly in that first half, because Wales were poor?
Well, you like to think in these pressure scenarios, as players, we rise to the occasion. But yeah, we'll have to look back at it and see if we did. Obviously, with the loss, I don't think we did.
What would you say to the fans here today, to those watching at home who might be wondering what the future currently holds for Wales?
I think, first of all, thank you for sticking by us, but this playing group will give everything, as you've seen to the last minute there. Just stick with us, because I promise you the future's bright. When we go away from this environment now, we're just going to have to get better and better as individuals, as players. And when we come back together as a group, we'll be in a better place.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, it was the worst possible start to the second half, wasn't it? Having had all that chat half-time, what Wales have got to do and come out is not concede what they did with Lorenzo Pani's try. And obviously this is a player who was filling in for Kapowatz, who was the hero of a couple of years ago, wasn't he? And that was a brilliant individual effort, but again, you're looking at Wales' mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's great Italian attack, and it's where We know that Italy are so strong. It's off first phase as well, which is really hard to do, to score first phase. Defence is normally organised, but Menoncello runs a really hard line here. He pops out the back, Wales bite on it. Costello is now yelling at Nick Tompkins to push across, but Tompkins doesn't move, so Wales end up getting a little bit narrow. Tompkins gets tied in, George North has to step in, and then Rio Dyer needs to follow George North in. If the man inside you goes in, you have to go in. Instead, George goes in and hits the Italian player there. Rio Dyer now has to follow suit, but that's the second time for the 2 tries that Wales on the edge got caught in no man's land. You either got to go man and ball or you completely sit off. They do neither. Italy get the line break and then they end up scoring. So really good attack from Italy, really good decoy runners, good handling ability, but Wales just getting stuck in defence on the edge. They just quite haven't got the same. They're not all on the same page, and as a backline unit, you all got to be connected to each other. Wales just getting split too many times.
Great feat, though.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Pani put some speed there. Then I think the key on this move is, again, Nacho Brex, who take the ball, carry the ball until the end and make the ball pass, and a fantastic try.
What a boost for Italy, because he's come in to replace a superstar, and then he scores it, and that needed finishing. That wasn't an easy finish. He had to finish that. So for the whole team to see a guy as a replacement come in and do that, you think, wow, we can do this.
Had to run through quite a few red shirts, didn't he? The defence was very impressive overall today, but actually this individual moment deserves pulling out. Ross Vincent, who, of course, about 4 months ago was still delivering pizzas. He's at Exeter University, he's an Exeter player, and today, well, this was a moment that he will remember, this big tackle.
It's stuff like this that wins you games. That wins you games. You know, look like for all money Wales are going to score, and he's got real pace, this guy. He said at half-time, he's an interesting play. He showed it on attack against Scotland. They come back and they turn the ball over. That probably kept them, you know, ahead and won them the game.
Yeah, I was trying to work out something to do with topping it off and his favourite toppings, but it will take something to top that for him this weekend, and for his whole Six Nations actually to come in and be an impact. People talking about his pace, talking about, you know, what a future he has, but showing there that pace, that strength and vision.
Yeah, he have everything. Of course, he was rushing in defence with a line break for Wales, but definitely Manuel Giuliani as well, and the breakdown was excellent to steal that ball. But Ross have a very good talent. I think he's a very good athlete, and he can play number 8, 6. So
this is the great thing about we're talking about Italy now. Before we were talking about they've got Sergio Parisse, or you know they've got like a handful of players. We're talking about 5 back row players now that they've got 3 starting. The 2 that come off the bench are brilliant as well. They're getting some real strength and depth now, which is great.
Let's go to our commentary box where Nigel Owen is waiting to have a chat to us. Rather than you guys have a look at the Elliott Dee try first, shall we let Nigel explain fully why this was eventually permitted, Nigel?
Yeah, well, John Barkley has been asking for this team to be up in the Scotland-France game. It's a bit too late for that. Yeah, so there's a couple of things I need to check here. First of all, they need to check is the ball on the ground and is it over the line. So yes it is. So obviously then you have a grounding, but then what the TMO wants to check, was Elliott Dee actually tackled? Now he is taken to ground here and he probably is tackled, but the key thing is here that changes that decision from on-field decision of no try or to a try is the fact that the Italian defender, the number 21 there, he actually lifts and pull Elliott Dee over the line. If he hadn't have done that and Elliott Dee would have continued that movement, it would have been a double movement and there'd been a penalty against Elliott Dee, and then they go back for the advantage. So there were 3 things to look at there, and they got then to what was the correct outcome, which was a try to Wales.
So even though he's stopped and he's on the floor,
Yep.
He can then get off the floor and score.
Well, no, he can't. But he was taken by the Italian. But he was grabbed over by the Italian player. So if you look at it again, Marin, the Italian player grabs him and pulls him over. So Elliott Dee has done nothing wrong.
He also didn't make any effort to get over the line himself.
He doesn't need to do that because he's pulled over by the defender. So Elliott Dee has done nothing wrong. He's actually lifted over by the Italian player.
It's rugby's equivalent of an own try.
It's a try, yes. Well, you could say that, Gabby. That's a good one. An own try in rugby, yeah.
OK, Nigel, thank you so much, as always, for all your contributions, clearing
pleasure.
various things up for us over the last few weeks. Italy's game management, very impressive overall. You just alluded to it there, actually, that when Wales were kind of getting back into the game, they were picking up those penalties, weren't they, kicking those? But, Sam, you've picked something out you want to have a look at.
This is not a sexy clip, but this is the biggest difference between Italy last year and this year. this part of the field, Italy used to try and run from here, and they'd end up getting turned over, but now they're smart, they box kick, they have a good chase, and then they fill this chase then with a full back line, they compete hard at breakdown, they fill the line now. Wales are trying to get back into shape. This is the best place to blitz from now, because you're coming onto the ball, you can rush off the line again. Wales play and they have to revert to a kick because they've got nothing else to do. Now, Italy of old would have ran that and they would have conceded possession by a knock-on or a penalty. And I used to think, oh, just kick the ball in your own half. Italy last week, haven't seen the stats yet for this week, but last week, says 100 rucks. They only had 17 rucks in their own half in the whole of the game last week, because they're like, don't be silly, kick out of here, play in the opposition half. So their game management, that middle third, is so much better, and that's why they're in the lead a lot more in these games.
Almost like a confidence in their identity, isn't it, as well, and sticking to that. What does this mean to you, Sergio, watching this Italy side, not just today, but through this tournament, and being consistent and backing up performances?
Look, I think I'm very proud, but it's something that some say, I think this team showed that they have a lot of depth. Capuzzo, everyone talk about him. Now, today, Lorenzo Pani making an outstanding performance. And in the back row, too many depth, too many players they can play. And they play a fantastic rugby. So I think we can be very, very confident for the future. I think it's a long way. 2 wins, a draw. Of course, it's the best Six Nations ever for Italy, but it's not a perfect Six Nations that Italy want to show every year that we deserve, and we can. After this standard, we must be consistent. And so now, today, I think that everyone expects Italy to be more competitive as a team.
Okay, well, Warren Gatland finished bottom of the championship in 1998 when he was head coach of Ireland, but he's never picked up a wooden spoon with Wales. He's with Sonia.
Well, Warren, bald facts are, it is a first wooden spoon for 21 odd years. I just wonder what you might say to the fans here today, to those at home who will find that a little bit painful.
Yeah, they will find it painful. We find it pretty painful as well. So, obviously didn't help ourselves in that first half and didn't get enough go forward and momentum. And when we got some ball on the front foot, we looked dangerous. Thomas Williams started to open up a bit, and so probably that's some messaging for us, is about making sure that we get some momentum going forward to be able to get on the front foot, and that probably definitely didn't help in the first half. And so we've been a bit lateral and allowed them to probably defend us pretty easily.
I know there'll be a review on incoming, but given the size of the player pool and the way the regions are going and the resources available, is this rebuild just a little bit harder than you thought it might be?
No, it's not actually. It's kind of like, we knew the inexperience we had in the squad and players that were asking to step up into leadership roles. But for us, it's about learning from that and taking the good moments out of the game and going, this is what good looks like. These are the sort of things we've got to do. We've got to get on that front foot. We've got to win some of those collisions, and that allows us to play when we want to do it. You force some of those situations when it's not quite on, and then you've just got to be a little bit more conservative in doing that. So, like I said, I can't question the effort of the boys, and they've given us everything in this campaign. And in fairness to Italy, well done to them. We didn't put them under a huge amount of pressure, and they managed the game exceptionally well.
You wouldn't mind a player like Joe Hawkins, though, from Exeter. Will you be looking at the old 25 cap law? Is that a help or a hindrance?
It's not a help at the moment, given that you have a few players unavailable to you, and you'd like to have everyone in the pool available, but it is what it is at the moment, and until that either gets looked at or changed, so we just have to deal with what we've been thrown.
You did say after your first Six Nations back that, oh my God, if I'd known about what was going on in Welsh rugby, I might have thought differently. But are you in it for the long haul? Do you have any regrets?
No, not at all. No, I'm really excited about this group. Like I said, I think they're going to learn from it, and some youngsters who will, improve from the experiences. We've just got to make sure that we're very clear on the sort of things that might be about simplifying our game a little bit, to make sure that we do get on that front foot, to make sure we do get some go forward, and that'll make a huge difference for us.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, all you can do is learn, and that's all you can say right now, isn't it, if you're Warren Gatland, because there'll be a lot of lessons, I'm sure, that will come from this campaign. You'll look closer at this tomorrow in Rugby Special, 6 o'clock BBC 2. You'll sleep on this, Sam, and you'll try and find some positives. As you sit here right now, what are your immediate thoughts in the aftermath of that tournament?
My immediate thoughts are, the harsh truth is Wales don't have the same quality of players as they've had historically. There are some great players in that team. There's some excellent players, but there's not enough of them. And I think that Warren said about go forward. I think Wales are actually quite a skilled team. They've showed the Six Nations they can score tries. They got it wrong today, but they're quite well skilled. The one thing they fall short of is a number of athletes, and that's a long-term process bringing through athletes. That's not just you bring them into camp, you train them for a month. That's from the age of 14, 15, 16 when you bring them all the way through. So the athleticism and the skill level's there, but the athleticism's not. They need to unearth some players. Mason Grady come on, went forward, Wales score. Will Rowlands comes on, carries forward, Wales end up scoring. Evan Lloyd, that's why he's looked at as a hooker, because he's got a big physical presence. His ceiling is very high. So you need to have the skill level, yes, but you need athlete too.
Could we see a dramatically different Wales performance in a year's time? How long is it going to take to turn this tanker?
Well, if they hadn't made all those mistakes that they made, that game would have been a lot closer. So you've got to get rid of those first. You've got to get rid of those basic errors, because they just kill it. They stop you from doing anything. If they do that, they've shown that. I agree with Sam. They're skillful. They're just lacking a little bit of power at the moment against the very best.
Sergio, I think the final word to Italy, because whatever happens in those other matches, they could move up the table today. Of course, it's their best ever Six Nations tournament. Where do they go from here?
Yeah, no, fantastic. How to say? I think now everyone will be respect more Italy and the future. I think they've got a team that that is going lost against them. Personally, really proud because playing for too many years, taking so many wooden spoons during the last 15 years, and see Michele Lamaro, all these guys, achieving some good things for Italian rugby make me so proud.
Thank you so much, guys. Sam and Martin, Sergio, as always, it's been a fantastic to share this afternoon with you, and indeed the whole Six Nations tournament. Thank you for sharing it with us too. So it's been a brilliant tournament for Italy. Rugby's coming Rome. Good night. Afternoon.
For George North, how does this great story end? What a start by Italy, and Wales in real trouble. What a glorious try! Wales have a try. Mason Grady is in for a third Welsh try. Victory will be Italy's.
The Six Nations did not disappoint, and highlights analysis of all three matches on the way.
We have a cracking lineup of guests to pick it all apart.